If you would commit to this process for 12 months, even if it didn't produce one single result, indoctrinate yourself, indoctrinate your client, you will never have to worry about a new household again. Hi, this is Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to the Magellan Network Show. My goal inside of this communication, this show, is to share with you my nearly 30 years of coaching some of the most successful financial advisors in North America. We're going to be talking about strategies, syntaxes. We're going to be bringing guests on from time to time, and I'm going to share with you what's working now. So think of this show as sort of like a little one-on-one kind of mini coaching cast, if you like, where we're going to be going in depth from time to time on strategies to help you grow your business, get more effective, become more efficient, find balance in your time management, grow your business, and quite frankly, whatever else is going on in the world today. So before we get to today's episode, I'd love for you to do a couple things for me. Number one, make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're doing the audio, make sure that you give us a review on whether Spotify or Apple. We'd really appreciate that. And quite frankly, that does help. It does matter when you rate things and like things and subscribe to things. It helps us get the word out to more of the industry. And lastly, I have a very special gift for you. Go to MagellanNetwork.net, so one word, MagellanNetwork.net, and I have for you a complimentary membership, 100% gratis, where you can tap into about between 50 and 75 hours of masterclasses, forms, tools, templates, and strategies. So please go ahead and make sure you go ahead and get that claimed. Smash the like button and subscribe. And please go ahead and leave us a review on whatever podcasting platform you're on. And now, let's get to this week's episode. Hi, it's your coach, Joe Lucas, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Today, we are going to talk about one of my favorite all-time topics, referrals and introductions. So before we get into our topic, I want to make a comment. First off, referrals and introductions mean exactly the same thing. Does not matter. Years ago, some really smart consultants said, you know what? Everybody doesn't like the referral word, so let's come up with a new word. We'll call it introductions because it sounds more professional. Referrals sound like a sales thing. But operationally, it's really the same thing, okay? In my almost soon to be 30-year career of coaching just advisors, I have seen every referral program out there, know of pretty much every referral coach consultant out there. I've seen referral letters, postcards, processes, protocols, and all that. And I will say this, they all kind of work. I'm not here today to throw shade on anybody or anybody's business or anybody's process. It's not about that. What it's for me is giving you guys what I think works, what I actually know to work, and more importantly, why don't advisors do this? So, little story first. I like to do this from time to time, and I do it in my events, typically when I do my business planning event. And so I normally ask a couple questions. So here's question number one. I want you to answer this to yourself, okay? Do you believe, as a financial advisor, that when a very happy client refers/introduces you to a friend, family, colleague, a coworker of theirs, and it's a good fit, so it's a good client for you, that is one of the best ways, if not the best ways, to get a new household? Do you believe that? Yes or no? It's like binary, okay? Yes, no. Now, 98% of you are going to say yes to that. Most likely, there are the 2%ers that like doing weird stuff, like cold calling and cold walking and seminars and stuff like that, which is fine. They all work too. But we're talking about the best way, the easiest way. People, the four-letter word that I normally don't like to talk about, right? The easy way, okay? So, if you said yes to that, second question, how much time, energy, effort, and focus do you put to executing on the first question? There is the gap, very simply, right? And this is, in my 30-year career, has really perplexed me as a coach, because I look at it and say, well, we're all, look, you're all intelligent people. 98% of you say yes, best way, but most of you don't do it. So let's unpack that. Why? So if intellectually we all agree, and I can give you a process, that's like 5 minutes, which I'm going to give you today, so sit tight on that. What's the why? Here's what I have come to believe is the case. Most advisors do not believe that they deserve referrals, introductions, whatever. Now, why do I say that? Because if you believe you deserve them, you would take action on it. Empirical evidence, right? I don't do anything, it's passive. And shockingly, and this is an interesting phenomenon. I think you're getting more referrals unsolicited today, and I think that trend will continue for the next 3 to probably 5 years. Why? Boomers are retiring, advisors are retiring. We're awash of money in motion. Even if you're, and I say this respectfully, inept at your referral game, you will still probably see a trend line going up over the next several years just because of market forces, which is great. However, if you were to harness this, you'd get 10 times as many. And it would probably, for most of you, transcend your business. Like, in other words, if you were to focus down on this for the next 60 months, several years, that it would position your business, i.e. you, for success for the next several decades. Getting back to why advisors don't deserve it. There's this kind of head trash thing that I like to talk about, the man or woman in the mirror. Some people will call it imposter syndrome. It's a good term for that. That works, right? Bottom line is that you just don't know if you deserve it. Now, why does an advisor know they deserve it? There's 2 potential possibilities, internal, external. Internal possibility is you just in your gut know you could be doing more for the client, you be calling them more often, you can be maybe caring a little bit more about them, and you're not. So therefore you get this, I don't feel justified in it. Right. Or the externals are like, I don't get a lot of feedback from my clients. I think they like me. There's the term I give it. It's called advisor relational insecurity, right? Because let's face it, all your clients are at will. And I say this with, not trying to freak anybody out. But the reality is, tomorrow morning, you can come in your office and open up your email and you could see every one of your clients cat out. That's like a meteorite striking the planet, quite frankly, but it's possible. So there's a lot of advisor relational insecurity, which will probably be a great topic for a future episode. We have all this going on. Now, how does that manifest? It manifests like this. You hear it from somebody because you want to believe it. There have been in the past, again, no names, that would actually go around to branches and different speaking engagements and stuff like that and utter words like, if you're really a professional, you never ever solicit for referrals. Doctors don't solicit for referrals. Yes, they do. Doctors refer other doctors to specialists, something like that. So we're going to debunk that really quick, okay? And if they're like specialty doctors, like cosmetic surgery and stuff like that, they're all about the marketing. So I don't buy that for a second, all right? But when you hear a speaker say, real professionals don't ask for referrals, they don't promote referrals, they let things come to them, they let it come to them because they serve their clients so well, the client feels almost obligated to do it. You want to believe that so bad it becomes your reality. Like, oh yeah, see? I don't have to do that uncomfortable thing. Yeah, I knew it, right? And it absolves you of any responsibility, right? Now, those people are really popular. Why? Because they're telling you what you want to hear, not your reality, right? That's step number 1, okay? So that's first piece, right? Which is I don't have to do it. Real professionals don't do it. Therefore, right? Second misnomer, right? Well, my clients know I'm open for business. Therefore, if they got somebody, they'll send them my way. And what that really extrapolates into, you're under the belief set that your clients wake up every morning wondering how they can help you. No, they do not. They have their own lives. They love you. They appreciate you. That's not their jam, okay? Just not. And so don't get into the false narrative that, well, if we just do a good job for them and, our service speaks for ourselves. Again, that's what you want to believe because that's comfortable, okay? Bottom line, right? And I can go on and on and on, which we're not going to. But here's what happens. This is the false narrative, the Kool-Aid that the industry has drunk up for many, many years. Now, conversely, there are consultants that really believe in a very onerous and what I like to call evasive thing, right? Where they'll have you talk to your clients and sit down, maybe take your client out to lunch and have this story and I've heard this, hey, if you were me and you were going to build my business, what would you do? And like, I've heard that narrative too, right? Your clients are not responsible for building your business. Why should they do that? Now, some may want to do that, and I'm not saying that's not effective, but again, Here's the problem with anything evasive. You can only do it once, or once every 5 to 10 years, right? That's a problem, right? So it's like you fire all the bullets out of the gun, I'm empty now. Hope it worked, right? And sometimes it comes off as too salesy and it turns the client off. And that's the biggest fear from your side, the advisor side. What is your number one fear about referrals and introduction game? That somehow you'll offend your client, that somehow you'll piss them off, that somehow you'll put them in a position to have to reject you, right? Very uncomfortable. And that's what some of these consultants do. They actually put your client in a position of uncomfortableness. Okay, why would I want to do that? And who's got all the time for that anyway, right? So again, they mean well, it works. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It's just not what I would recommend you do, okay? So here's what you need to do. Now that we've kind of extrapolated off. First off, there's a couple of urban legends. Let me debunk them. There's no such thing as the referral letter, okay? I've seen them. I've seen samples of things, right? I've never seen anything, because trust me, I'd have it. I would trademark it. I would license it to you for lots of money. Doesn't exist. All right. So what does work? There's a very simple formula which I will go over and then give you some strategies. So here is the formula. You may want to write this down. It may be in the show notes. So first thing, you, the advisor, have to wake up every day. And in your morning conversation with yourself, you have to remind yourself, I must remind my clients I am of service to people that they know. So here's the thing. If you make this about you, your goals, your business, all that stuff, number one, it's going to sound very selfish and self-centered. So number one, that's not going to play well. That's not going to play in your own mind really well. Okay? So if you make it about you, it ain't going to fly. Now, for some of you, it will fly because you're wired that way. Fine. Not in the vast majority. Right? So the frame for you is I'm here of service to my clients and who they know. So we're here to help others, of service. So not about us, about others, right? That's the first frame. So it's awareness. Okay? So you, the advisor, have got to know the why you want to do this. And again, if you make it about your goals, your business, and all about you, it will not be sustainable emotionally for most of you. So it's got to be about others. Okay, that's number one. The second thing, so you need to be aware. Part two of the formula. You have to make your clients aware, right? Now, how do we do that? I will get to that in a moment. Here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to sit them down during a review and slide a pad over and say, hey, can you give me 3 of our names, or who do you know, or all this other stuff, right? We're not going to do that. Why? Because once you do that, you cannot go back and do it again for a very, very long time, and you run the risk of putting your client in an uncomfortable position. We never want to do that. Never, ever, ever, ever. Okay? But we are going to create awareness. We create awareness several different ways. Number one, we're going to mention it. I'm going to give you the not magic language. You make this your own. I'm going to get to that in a moment. We're going to language around it. We're going to make it an agenda item on our reviews. And we're going to create situations for clients to refer people to us. So let me handle all three. So the first thing we're going to do is when you're talking to a client, they call you, you call them, whatever it's going to be, right? Look, you talk to clients, they come in, whatever. And it's a positive conversation, okay? So this would not work if somebody's complaining about their returns and their fees, and be just cognizant, okay? What I teach is very simple. Hi, Coach Joe Lukacs here, and I'm just breaking here for a moment just to do a couple quick reminders. Number one, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast. In addition, please leave a comment or a review. Those things really, really matter. And share this episode with 3 of your colleagues inside the financial services space. And lastly, make sure that you go ahead and claim your free membership inside of Magellan Network. Now back to this week's episode. Hey, great speaking to you today. Oh, by the way, please remember we're here as a resource for any friends, any family, any colleagues, and any coworkers that you may know that we can help, right? Or can use our services or need help with their money, whatever. Language doesn't matter. Now, notice those language points. Did I ask for names? No. Did I demand anything? No. Did I position it as I needed this? No. What did I do? I empowered my client to know that they've got this resource called me and my team, or my team and I, and we are here of service if someone they know needs help. Total different reframe. Okay? Now, I talked to Tom and Mary on a Monday. 2 weeks later, Tom calls me. He needs something. Could I say, hey, great Tom, great talking to you today. So excited you and Mary going on your summer vacation. Hey, by the way, you know we're always here for you and your friends and family and colleagues and coworkers, right? That we're here. If anybody ever needs help, we want to be your first call, right? That's it. Done. Never demanding, never about me, always about them. So 2 things now have occurred. I, the advisor, am aware. I am making my client aware. I am indoctrinating them over time. What else am I going to do? In the review, I'm going to have an agenda item called introductions. And hopefully you share your agendas with your clients prior to the review, and they will see introductions and you will see introductions. And that will prompt them even through the conversation. And again, same thing. If assuming the review goes well, again, be cognizant. Very simple. Tom, Mary, thanks for coming in today. Or if you're on Zoom, right? Hey, it was great seeing you guys here today. And by the way, first off, we're very grateful for the privilege and opportunity to serve you, to really collaborate, to really partner with you in your retirement. And we're always going to be that resource for you personally, and then for any colleagues, friends, coworkers that you have, we're always going to be here as a resource, right? So just keep us in mind. That's it. Done. Never demanding, never about me, always about them, right? So I do that. So, and over time, so here's the problem, or here's the reality of this. So I make a statement, and I'll say it here because it's a true statement, because I've got client, I've got evidence, I've got references on this. If you would commit to this process for 12 months, even if it didn't produce one single result, but you've indoctrinated yourself, you've indoctrinated your clients, you will never have to worry about a new household again. And I don't say that and I don't take that term very lightly, right? Wow, but what's the problem? You all want something yesterday, right? So this is where the shiny object people come in, right? Oh, we've got the system, we'll get you 30 referrals in 30 days and all this other stuff, right? And what's the old saying? If it sounds too good to be true, it probably what is, right? This is hard work, right? It's relative, of course, right? So what's the next one we're gonna do? So the other thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do 2 types of events quarterly. We're gonna do a virtual, and I'm not gonna get into details here because I wanna this is not a 4-hour training here. Every quarter, we're going to do a Zoom, on different topics. You can be the teacher, you can be the host, totally cool with that. Once a quarter, we're going to do a hosted happy hour / meet and greet, a fun event that's live, right? And you're going to invite your clients, you're going to encourage them to bring a guest, right? And look, you will have clients that have mentioned you several times to people that they know, but the person's not ready to sit down with you in a formal setting, but they're curious about you. These little meet and greets or where you really have a client bring somebody to meet you. And meet and greet it's not a presentation, it's not a training, it's not about bringing somebody in to do anything. It's what it sounds like, a little hosted happy hour, like a little reception, a couple hours, normally on a Thursday, 4 to 6 local. We're not going to get into all the details on that. Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to do that 4 times a year. We're going to do adult client education 4 times a year. Everybody gets to invite friends and family. What we do, give it out. The link's out. We want everybody here, right? And the last thing you're going to do twice a year is you're going to host what we call an advocate dinner. Now, what's an advocate dinner? For those clients who referred you somebody in a 6-month period of time, irregardless of whether that referral became a client or not, they did their part. They stepped up. You're going to host this is where you put some budget in it. You're going to host a nice dinner, right? Or something like that. Again, we're not doing this, not presentation stuff. It's gratitude. You're going to call it a client advocate dinner. And what you're going to do, you're going to invite your clients who gave you a name to come for that 6 months, in that 6 months window if you're doing it, twice a year. And if that referral became a client, you're going to invite them to come too. Why? Because now we're going to indoctrinate that new client, because that's how they got here. Well, that's how they're going to help us find other people. Twice a year, right? My clients will normally do it like early to mid-June and like early to mid-December. Like that's kind of the windows we'll look at, right? From that perspective. We'll do that. And then we're going to keep, we'll keep it in our newsletter that gratitude, we appreciate, we're always here as a resource, right? You'll have it in your tagline. So bottom line is recipe, advisor awareness, client awareness. The one thing we do not control is timing. We do not control that. So bottom line is that is not in our control. And then if you're tracking this, look, I've got clients and look, we'll source 50, 75 names a year. Now, some are going to say, yeah, Joe, but how if they're not, I only want AAA clients, stuff like that. That is, again, the narrative you're telling yourself not to do this. It's the rationale, right? Get over it. Here's the math. If you source 50 names, half of them will not be qualified either economically or emotionally, right? They're not looking for change. They don't economically qualify. Fine, right? Now, some of you just said, well, Joe, if they're not qualified, what do? Remember what we're here to do. We're here as a resource. I didn't say we're going to take everybody you send. So what are you doing? Let's say you have a conversation. And my philosophy is if you ever get a referral from anybody, 30, 45 minutes of your time, Zoom, fine, right? We've got a whole process for that called Get the Yes, which we're not going to get into here. Your commitment to your client is to have a conversation with their referral, ascertain their situation, and make appropriate recommendations. If that recommendation is to, hey, we love to help you, let's talk about that. Or, hey, we'd love to help you, but your economic situation, our fee structure would just be so punitive for you. It would not be in your best interest. So here's what we recommend you do. Go to your bank, self-invest, whatever you want, right? The bottom line is the person who got referred to you leaves that conversation in a much better place for that conversation than if they did not have it. Right? So we're not committing to take them on as a client. We're just committing to have a conversation and see if we can help their situation. That's it. All right? Not a problem. And I've never had anybody come back to me who said, Joe, I had a client, I had a referral, I had a great conversation. They really having a lot of money. I told them I'd love to help them, but economically, it just would not be in their best interest, and I have to operate in a fiduciary manner. So I told them they should go down to the local credit union where they do their banking and meet with somebody, and I gave them some ideas what they need to do. Right? They thanked me profusely, and they promised me they'll be back in the future. Perfect. That's it. Okay? That's it. That's the game. Doesn't require you to go somewhere for a weekend and pay $5,000, $10,000. It doesn't require you to go hire a consultant and pay whatever. It just requires you to get committed to execute this. This is not rocket science. And this has been something that's been very near and dear to me. And, throughout my career, I get, a lot of people a lot of people reach out to me, right? A lot of consultants, a lot of other coaches, and, and some people I'll partner with and do things, and, and I'll expose people to it, and I find it very complimentary. But the referral side of things, my data and my experiences and my clients' experience we don't need to be doing all the other stuff. We just need to be focused on this. And it's about timing and it's about awareness. That's it, bottom line, right? In this episode, / mini masterclass, I've given you about 80% of what you need, maybe actually 90% of what you need to go execute this. It's not rocket science. Get committed. Understand why you deserve it. Open your mouth consistently, right? Plan the 4 educational events. Plan the 4 fun events. Host the 2 client advocate dinners. Rinse and repeat every year for the next 10 years. You'll never have to worry about new households again, all right? Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Please pass this episode on to your friends, family, colleagues, right? Subscribe, whether it's the audio you want to do on the podcast or my YouTube channel. The video sometimes we put some graphics and stuff like that. It'd be pretty cool. And I'll see you all again next week. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to MagellanNetwork.net, and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game both personally and professionally.